Albright, co-founder of Black Voters Matter, is with us, and Republican strategist Malik Abdul is with us as well. Cliff, you first. This idea that you have a new candidate, so you're going to have new energy. The Harris campaign just put a press release out a few moments ago. They said they've raised $81 million in the first 24 hours. So that would be energy, right? What do you say about that, and how far it can carry her?
Well, it can carry her straight to the White House. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of energy. It's been well reported. There was a call with Black women with Black women that had 44,000 people, Black women, on a Zoom call last night. In just those 3 hours, they raised, just on that call, over $1 million. We do a lot of work with young people at HBCUs and college campuses. The chat group there has been on fire. Like, they are energized. So we're seeing it. We're seeing it amongst small donors. We're seeing it amongst voters. We're seeing it amongst some of the activists that have to actually go out and knock on doors and make these phone calls. And so, yeah, we think that it's going to carry her straight to victory.
The question is from the Trump team's point of view, Malik, are they ready for it? Here's a group of Black voters speaking over the weekend in Atlanta, Georgia, about Biden getting out, Harris getting in. Listen.
I would pick Kamala Harris, definitely, just because it's something different. The country, we still have not had a woman president yet. So what better opportunity now for that change to happen?
If it was in between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, I would vote for Trump.
Me, personally, I'll stay where I'm at, in the middle.
So, mixed reaction there, Malik. I assume you'll stay with Trump, right? So there's something new on the Democratic side. It definitely changed this race. I don't know if any of us knows exactly how yet. What's your take?
Well, what I'm hearing, if you look at many of the reporting out there, Kamala Harris does seem to be galvanizing one community, particularly the Black community, which is the natural constituency for the Democratic Party. The question is whether a Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket will be able to galvanize in places like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, because it just won't be the Black vote. It would have to be a larger constituency that she'll have to pull from. The problem, or the question that Kamala Harris has, is how important will race and gender be and how they run against Donald Trump? Because I believe that will be a very powerful tool that they'll use. And Democrats have successfully used race specifically against Republicans. So I expect them to go in on that. How Donald Trump responds to it will determine whether or not he becomes president.
Oh, yeah. What about using it the other way around is what I was thinking when you were saying that as well. Cliff, your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of energy, and I guarantee you it's not just amongst Black voters. It's all across the country that we're seeing it, including in some of those key states like Pennsylvania, like Michigan. At the end of the day, don't take my word for it, Connor. Like, take Trump's own word, or take his team's. Stephen Miller was on Fox News almost crying tears about the fact that Biden was no longer in the race. Donald was not tweeting, but his truthing about how unfair it is. It's fraud that they've switched. They are scared to death. And so you don't have to take my word about it. You can just look at their own reactions. They see the energy. They see what's going on. And yes, I would love for it to be a matter of race and gender and equity. We've seen the impact that abortion rights and reproductive rights has had on all of these elections that have taken place since Dobbs. We are looking forward to Kamala Harris being able to prosecute the case against Trump and Vance about Project 2025. That's the good part about Biden having dropped out, and we thank him for, even though he was pressured, we thank him for that, because now it allows us to focus on the issues and the policies in Project 2025 instead of just being focused on Biden's age.
What about this issue, Malik, of the Trump team being shaken up by this? So let's bring up the piece that Tim Alberto wrote in The Atlantic about it, because the idea basically is that they were ready for Trump. I said earlier they thought they already had 293 electoral votes of 270 needed to win already. But this is what they feared, Alberto writes. She's also a former prosecutor, if anything's known for being too tough on crime. Trump allies were telling him that they plan to assault her left flank with accusations of Harris over-incarcerating young men of color when she was the California AG. So it's this idea that, when she ran last time in the primaries, she couldn't use kind of this tough on crime stance, this moderate prosecutor, I suppose. But in a general election, that might come in handy, and the question is, are the Trump folks ready? What would you say?
Yeah, I think the Trump team, they're prepared. People need to remember, go back into the debate where Kamala Harris was on stage with Joe Biden, and she got bodied by Tulsi Gabbard on this very issue. So it is a very potent issue, and Donald Trump, I'm pretty sure that they will use that against Kamala Harris and compare that to the First Step Act, which they don't talk a lot about nowadays. But Donald Trump will definitely be able to use that. But again, she's going to need support other than just from Black voters. And we've seen just recently, she's actually polling about 2 points ahead of Joe Biden just nationally. Donald Trump leads both of them in the favorability rating. So you may have opinions about Donald Trump, but he's more favorable to voters than Kamala Harris.
Yeah, everybody's got high unfavorables, but you're right. The Biden and Harris team had very, very high unfavorables. Now she's got 100 days basically to turn it around. Does it matter, Cliff, who she picks? Let's bring up our list to have it on the tablet here, if possible, vice presidential picks. It looks like you see Cooper second from the left, Bashir the middle, Shapiro after him. That those are the big three, but maybe it is someone like Kelly or even Mitch Landrieu or someone that's not on that list. Does it matter to you, Cliff, who she picks as her running mate?
Well, a lot of people that we talk to say, look, she could pick a cadaver and they would still be voting for her to become president over Trump. It does matter, some of those candidates have some issues in terms or create some issues in terms of like how they get replaced, or like with Governor Cooper, when he leaves the state, the Republican lieutenant governor has to take over. So there's some issues like that need to be considered. But all of those bring something to the table. North Carolina is a battleground. Arizona is a battleground. Obviously, Pennsylvania, a key battleground. So they all bring something to the table and will help transform that map, which already is looking quite favorable.
All right. Again, she's heading to Delaware to meet with the staff. That's now her campaign headquarters, so we'll follow her next hour there. Cliff and Malik, we thank you for joining us this hour. Coming up, the